So just to review a few things for the quiz and the test, for quiz number 5, make sure you know the multiplication rule and the addition rule. Basically, it's just like the name. The multiplication rule says if there's a sequence of events and you want to know the probability that both A and B, the key word is and, both A and B happen, you multiply the probabilities. But sometimes there's a conditional probability, and you have to take that into account if they're dependent. So this part is you multiply the probability of A times the probability of B given that A happened. Right? And remember that that notation means B, the probability of B given A. All right, so that's the multiplication rule. You multiply probabilities, and you have to take dependency into account. All right, and then the addition rule is for at least one of the events to happen, A or B. This is an or. So this is an or, and this is an and. Or B, either one to happen, you add probabilities. That's add. All right? And so that's why it's the addition rule. This is an and. Now, you have to take into account if they're mutually exclusive. If they are mutually exclusive, then this is the answer here. You just add probabilities. But if they're not, you have to take into account that they overlap. So you add the probability of A plus the probability of B minus the probability of both of them happening. Okay? This is the intersection of A and B, the outcomes that they have in common. All right, so just kind of be familiar with that. That's on Quiz 5, those definitions there. The other thing on the test, so this is on the test, make sure you know about cards. Like there's 4 of each kind, right? There's 4 aces, for example. There's 4 of each kind. There's 13 of each suit, right? There's 26 red cards and black cards and 52 card total. So just know those numbers, 4, 13, 26, and 52. That should help you. There's a lot of probability that uses these numbers. All right, and then the other thing I want to review is, remember, 2 things completely determine the normal distribution. One of them is the mean. In this case, the means are different. M2 is greater than M1. Like maybe the mean of M1 is 3. The mean of this data set is 3. And so this one's greater than that. Maybe this is 4, 5, 6. Maybe that's the mean is 6. All right, so they don't overlap each other. I mean, their tails might cross, but the means, the center of the data is different. This mean is larger than that. Although the spread, this is the sigma, right? Sigma 2, sigma 1. This is how spread out the data is. It's that distance. So in this case, it looks like S1 and S2 are equal, whereas in this case, the means are different, but the standard deviations are different too. The S1 is much greater than S2. This is much more spread out than this one. And in this one, the means are the same. All right, the means are the same. They're totally symmetric about the same axes here. All right, so the means are the same. But the standard deviation here is greater in that one. Let's say S2 is greater than S1 here. Okay, so just kind of, when you look at a graph, there's a question that has to do with graphing and means, and I wanted to review that for you. Probably something you already know. And this last part is the standard normal. Just remember that's one particular bell shape that is centered on the mean 0 and has standard deviation of 1. This particular curve here is called the standard normal. There's many other normal distributions that have the same shape, but they're not centered on one. Maybe this is centered on 4. and the standard deviation is 2 there. So, just know that terminology. I think you already know that. Make sure you do the practice test. I would do it several times, and just until you get used to doing every problem. And of course, if you need some help, don't hesitate to reach out.